Everton 1, Wolves 0. First half, I thought we played well, considering the season we've had. I thought we had the better of possession from Everton, not the better of the chances. But yeah, first half was okay. One thing that did resonate with me is just the absolute dross of delivery. The amount of times we had the chance to put a good ball in the box today, and it's been the story of our season. Didn't beat the first man. Martinho, I'm sorry, it's heartbreaking to watch, but he shouldn't be at the club next season. And if he is, he should be nowhere near that midfield. He's finished. He's finished as far as I'm concerned. And then second half comes round, and Everton get the early goal in the second half again. It's just embarrassing defending. How many, like, it's the same in the Burnley game, like, who scores directly off a corner these days, straight over the header? Like, you normally get a flick on or something like that. I don't really know what's going on. How many goals have we conceded like that this season? What is Nuno actually doing with them on the training ground? What are the coaches doing? Because it's a carbon copy every single week. We can't defend set pieces. Bolly, as big as he is, he's ducked out of that. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But performances like that, as soon as that goal went in, you see the heads drop, and there was no way we were going to get back into that game. The only attacking output we had was Adama, who I thought was sensational. He was the only one who was getting at Everton and having a go. Everyone else was poor. Neves had a poor game. I thought Ait-Nouri wasn't up to his standards in recent weeks. The substitutions, again, I don't really get what he's doing. Gibbs-White wasn't the best player on the pitch, but was doing all right. So to take him off for Willian Jose, who's an absolute cart horse, and if he's here next season, I'm not renewing my season ticket. There's I've been saying it for weeks. There's a lot of work to do in the summer, a lot of work, and a lot of money needs to be spent. And I think to spend the money that we need to do, someone like Neves will have to go, because I don't think the money's going to be there. But again, nothing gained, but still. First half, not too bad. Second half, poor, but only one game left. We can all get through this together.
Hi everyone, I know it's been a while since I've uploaded, but I must admit I have started to lose interest in this season after we sort of secured, staying in the league, and we didn't really have anything to play for. So I just thought, what's the point? Keep uploading and talking the same stuff every game, because the style of play has just pretty much been the same each game, and it's not really been much to rave about. But I thought I'd just make a video because I actually watched all the game today, and I just thought maybe I'd throw a few opinions in for next year, see if anyone listens what you think of them. But and also I'd touch on the game a little bit. But I think going forward we just don't look great, do we? We've not really looked good. The only thing that we've got going for us is having Adama with us, and we've really got to keep hold of him, because if he's not in our team, where are the attacks coming from? If he weren't playing, I don't actually think we would have even got in their box. So obviously we're missing the main players, but next season we've got to keep hold of Adama if we want to try and get back to European contention. Hopefully he can sign the deal, but they were saying that maybe we've got to sell some players to buy players. So I think if you're going to sell out of the top players, I've got a bit of an inkling that Neves might go, which worries me, because he's my favourite player. He has been since he sort of joined, and he had his really good first season with us. But that midfield, it's not very good at the moment, is it? Dendonker's had probably the worst season of his life. I used to thought he was all right first 2 seasons in the Premier League. But he's just been terrible. He just doesn't offer anything at the moment. And Moutinho is just he's just too old now, isn't he? He needs to, you shouldn't really even be nowhere near that starting lineup, maybe the odd game here and there. But I think we definitely need to improve the defence, I think, Bolly, I feel like he's at 30. I feel like he is going to struggle with injuries, but he is our best centre-back. But looking at that back line today, we definitely need a new centre-back, which we know. I think we do need a new left-back. I think Ait-Nouri, I don't even know what's the point spending 20 million on him when he's not really that good. You know, I'd much rather spend 20 million on a player that is got a bit of quality and not just young and got maybe have potential. So because from what I've seen of him, yes, recently he's looked okay going forward, but he's always got that defensive problem in him, you know, and it's probably the same with Semedo. I know he's been a bit more like Marmite this season. I must admit he's had a few good games, but overall in the season, I just don't think he's really offered that much. You know, he's, if anything, I just notice all the things that he sort of mucks up. You know, he's definitely cost us a few goals with some bad defensive errors. And going forward, I feel like he gets in dangerous positions, but he doesn't do anything good with it. You know, he's had a few chances to score 1-on-1 and he just shoots at the goalkeeper. Or if he gets in a dangerous position on the line, he puts a cross in, and it's almost like he's not picking out a cross. He's just crossing it and open. And sometimes that can pay off, but I just think it doesn't half the time. You know, if you're a good cross for the ball, you know where you want the ball. I just feel like he hits and hopes. But yeah, I think striker-wise, obviously, just got to see what happens with Raul. Hopefully he can try and... I don't know if he's going to be able to play last game of the season, but if he can get some pre-season games, then we're going to have to try him out. But then, you know, I think I'm glad that Fabio's got a bit of a run in the team, because I think it'd be a good addition to bring on as a sub. But also, you know, I personally think I would love to see Renato Sanchez in that middle, or a player like him who's, you know, he's good at almost, he's an all-rounder, you know, like a Ruud Gullit, you know, he's just like a beast on the pitch. I think that's what we really need. Someone who's just going to pick the ball up and run with it and like really carry the team forward. I feel like we've got a lot of negative playing players in that midfield that don't like running with it. They just sort of go pass. And it's just, yeah, it's not been fun. And I just think, like I said, without Traore in the team, I just think we just look very negative. But yeah, I think, if I'm honest, I would like to see another 10. You know, I think we might... I'd like to buy a Venita, but I still think he's a few years where we're going to see how good he is. I feel like him and Fabio, they need a few more years because they're too young, they're too weak. And I feel like when they get a bit stronger and like their adult strength, I think we will see if they're actually quite good or not. But yeah, I'd like to see maybe a new addition, a number 10, someone who can sort of challenge Podence, because with that strong lineup, you know, you ain't going to swap Neto, Traore or Raul up front. But I'd like to see someone better come on as a sub for a number 10. I think Gibbs White, I think he needs to go on loan again. I wouldn't get rid of him completely, but I just think he needs a full season playing in the Championship. But yeah, so that was my opinion. I thought today, obviously, we didn't look great, but I'm not really bothered about the results anymore because I just want this season over and done with. But yeah, thanks for having me on Talking Wolves. Hopefully I'll be a bit more... I'll be doing these a bit more again. See ya.
Well, I watched it down the pub today, and my ratings are 8 out of 10 for the fish and 9 out of 10 for the chips. Yeah, very good. I'd come here again. Keep tuning into the fantastic work that Talking Wolves are doing. Over and out.
It's difficult to criticise individual performances because I feel as though that's unfair on, you know, the manager to get the blame for that. But if you're going off team performances since the Fulham result, then yes, then there has got to be blame that's got to be attached towards Nuno Espirito Santo. And there just isn't anything to me that suggests that we're going to be moving forward towards next season. And there isn't anything to suggest to me that there's going to be anything more than, you know, a season where it's been ridiculously bad. It's been god-awful. At the start of the season, if you go back to Sheffield United's review, I said we're in for a special season because I genuinely believed in the players and I believed that, you know, Nuno could get the best out of this team. And now look at the position that we're in. We're 12th in the league. We're averaging 4 shots on target throughout the whole entire season. We've literally shown no sign of improvement since Burnley away. And since then, it's been nothing short of just god-awful performances. And today's no different. I mean, I feel as though today you could watch many of my fan reviews and I've repeated exactly the same thing as what I'm going to repeat now. Just the result is different. This time it's Everton 1, Wolves 0. I mean, we start with the team selection. Again, Nuno just went back to his favourites again. He went back to a favoured system, which, if you look at us towards next season, and everyone around the football club has genuinely said that we're going to start playing with the back four next season. So why are we persisting with a five at the back? That didn't really make sense. Ruddy's just not good. I mean, the thing is, like, you can kind of understand why he's playing in the team, because the way that he is, like, it's probably his last game for Wolves. It's against his old club. Do you know what? I can't get mad at that one. I can still be a bit like, oh, hold on, why is he playing instead of Rui? But you can't kick off of that one. The fact Moutinho's in the midfield still, I mean, you can kick off about that. Gibbs White, who's made a massive impact, but again, is not a winger. And again, I don't get why we're playing him out wide. But even then, if he's not playing out wide, it looks as though Fabio Silva's playing out wide. He's a striker, not a winger. We spent £35 million on a young striker, and we're playing him out wide. I just don't get what that's all about. The first half was actually not horrendous. I felt as though we did okay without being spectacular. It would have been a good first half, and we would have actually took the opportunities, because we really took the game to Everton. But the problem was we'd never really threatened Pickford. I mean, the best opportunity, not just in the first half, but for the whole game, was a 25-yard routine save from a Morgan Gibbs White shot. I mean, there just wasn't anything that says to me that there's any, looking for any sign of improvement in the attacking third, even if, we're playing with, 4 at the back and we've got that extra midfielder in there. Second half comes along, and once again, another thing that's killed us is a set piece. Every single game, like, we are not learning from the mistakes that have cost us in the past. It seems as though, like, we're not actually, trying to improve at set pieces. So you almost ask the question, what the hell are we doing on the training pitch? Because we can barely take set pieces and we can't defend them. It's almost as if, pretty much is giving the opposition a free goal at certain points. I mean, Willy Bolly's got to be marking Richarlison, but again, he's got a free run on his man to get that header across. But it was just poor. And after the goal, we literally sat back and tried to contain a 1-0 defeat, which, I mean, the worst part is that's not even been surprising anymore, and it's just god awful at this point. I mean, the substitutes that came on, unfortunately, did absolutely nothing. I mean, I don't get why we're bringing on Willian Jose when it's been clear to see that we are not going to be signing him in the summer. And Morgan Gibbs White, who was probably our second best player on the pitch behind Adama. I mean, if he wants to go, I really couldn't blame him for the amount of limited opportunities he's had since the Brighton game, where he was the only player who showed bottle that day. And since then, it seems those reward has been the first one substituted, and he's been playing in a position where he can't play. It's poor man management, to be honest with you. And, the other substitution, I mean, Dendonka coming in to play defence, I mean, he's so bad. Moutinho, just bad. Vitinha is a good player, but again, just the subs didn't really create anything, as we played exactly the same way as before the players came on. But I'll say this now, I think Nuno's finished at this football club. I really can't see any way back for him, and I just can't see any improvement for us next season going forward. I mean, we can obviously talk about all the injured players coming back in all we want, but is there a guarantee that we're going to get that same calibre Raul Jimenez? Is he going to be that same calibre player that pushes us over the top and gets us to that next level? Because personally, for me, I really can't see Raul Jimenez, I want to see Raul Jimenez being that, but I'm going to look at it from a realistic point of view. I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see the same version of him. Are we going to see the same version of Pedro Neto after a knee injury? That's essentially what we're banking on, is, 2 injured players coming back and hopefully coming back the exact same. I just don't get it, to be honest. But, yeah, if we don't either sack the manager or have a major rebuild, preferably both, I genuinely think we could be in deep, deep trouble next season, because this form will carry over towards next season. It's happened many times before. We wouldn't be surprised if it happens again. Right, thanks for having me on Talking Wolves, and hopefully, the Man United game will be, I say, less negative, but you know me. Cheers, guys.
So another loss, but this time to Everton, but I felt like there was a lot of positives that we can take from this game. I feel like in terms of first half, let me just mention, I'm very happy to see Ruddy in goal. Obviously his first Premier League start in over 2 years, so I was happy for him. But the goal, I also felt like he didn't realise himself it was going in, and he probably wouldn't have got there, but maybe if he would have lent and not reacted so late because he thought it was going out, it would have maybe helped something at all. But in terms of the first half, possession, it was so nice to see Wolves actually dominate a game for once, for what seems like forever. It has been a long time coming since Wolves have had the majority of the possession, and I really enjoyed watching them dominate the game, have possession, and have about 12 corners, because obviously we're used to having 3 or 4 corners. So it was really nice to see that Wolves were dominating the game. But here comes the negative from that positive. We can't have that much dominance and have that much of the ball if we don't create chances from that possession. Like, that is something that needs to change. You can't have all of that dominance and not create the chances and goals from that. It's just needs to change, and that's something that moving forward, like I said, needs to change, because what's the point in having the possession? I also thought Semedo's performance was quite well in the first half. I saw and understood a lot of his ideas and interactions and passes. There was a few good passes straight through. And just to mention, I thought how solid we looked with 3 at the back. I thought that we looked really solid and strong with having 3 at the back, because obviously we know Nuno likes to experiment and play a lot of the time with 4 at the back, but I thought we really did well with the 3 at the back. And in terms of the second half, obviously the goal, it was nearly another goal. There was no cutting back from all the possession that we had. Like I mentioned before, we can't look sloppy and not create those chances from all the possessions we have. I also thought that changing Morgan Gibbs-White for William Jose was the wrong decision. And don't get me wrong, Morgan Gibbs-White isn't my favourite player, but obviously recently he's had a few games, and I thought today he was really, really good. It was one of his better games, and he had a few shots on target, which were really good, I thought. I'm obviously unlucky, but I didn't think changing him for William Jose was a right shout, because William Jose didn't give anything in that game. No offence, I don't think he does give anything in pretty much any game, to be honest. Like, I don't think that he fits in the team, and obviously they've got the option to buy, but I really hope, and I think Wolves themselves won't want him, because I just don't think he gives anything to the team. The weakness of our defending at corners struck in again, obviously, because we all know that people score a lot from set pieces, so that wasn't really the greatest. And like I said before, all the chances, we can't have that much possession and create the chances. And to end on today's little opinion, I thought, obviously, and everyone should agree with me, that man of the match was Traore. He is unreal. And like we've said before, when after the Raul injury, he was going through a crap time, should we say. No one was rating him, he wasn't doing great, but I think that these last few matches, especially the last 6 weeks, especially today, he has been on top form, and people want to sell him. Like, people think that Wolves should sell him. I do not agree with this whatsoever. I thought he was very, very, very strong today. Definitely man of the match. So you can take the positives and you can take the negatives, but I thought the better team lost today, obviously, and it was unlucky for Wolves. And obviously I forgot to mention the biggest part of the game, the handball, and let me just say, if you replay that in slow motion, that was a definite handball. He literally whacks the handball out of the box. So I really thought VAR wasn't in our favour today. Well, it never is in favour of Wolves. So that could have possibly led to a penalty, and we could have at least had an equaliser. So VAR, please be more consistent next time.
Right, well, what is there really to say that hasn't already been said? We are so bad, and honestly, well, I say I can't wait for next season, but it will probably be the same crap as it always is. You know, I get really excited with transfer rumours, pre-order all free kits, because why not? You know, spend about 500 quid on merch, and then just be disappointed in the first few games. And I mean, this season really hasn't gone the way we wanted it to. You know, we were meant to progress, crack on to top 6, and it just, you know, so many things have gone against us this season. You know, like just playing crap football, and you know the injuries we've had. Well, haven't been great. Losing Jimenez so early on was such a massive detriment. And to be honest, the season was over when he got injured. No one else was going to step up and do what he does for this club, because although, you know, we are really bad most of the time and we don't score goals, he's the one that actually does, you know, so much for us. And I think when you look at like other strikers in the league, I think what he genuinely does for the team is, so underappreciated. Like, he scores the goals, he creates, he makes other players look so much better than they are. Like, I'm not saying Adama's bad, but he makes Adama look really good because he's always on the end of his crosses. Like, them two have a connection, and we've seen with like Fabio Silva. I know he's young, but he doesn't go for headers, and Willian Jose's got to be up there for one of the worst strikers this club's had, if not, like even loans. Like, Vallejo was awful. Like, Vallejo was so bad, and Willian Jose might actually rival him for one of our worst signings. Like, it's just aggravating. Like I say, last game of the season, we've got Man United on Sunday. We'll probably get throttled, and then we can just move into next season. I hope the budget, the talks that are coming out of the club is that we're prioritising a centre back and a centre mid, potentially another winger, and getting Adama a new contract, because he really deserves it. Even at Spurs, in this game especially, he looks like he's one of the only players on that field that actually care. And once we are back to full strength next season, and we can get a few signings here or there, solidify the defence, because set pieces are one of our biggest weaknesses. And for all of the possession that we had, I say possession loosely, knocking the ball around yourselves and getting 100 corners when we don't have anyone who can put a ball in the box from a corner, and we have no one who wants to attack a ball from a corner. It's completely pointless. It's just stats. It's just numbers to have numbers. Like, some people look at the game and think, oh, look at our possession stats, and look at the amount of corners we had. But how many clear-cut opportunities did we actually have? It's so aggravating to watch this team and get your hopes up. I've watched every game this season, and it's just so void of creating anything. Or, like I said, with Jimenez injury, the goals dried up, and then Neto getting injured. We just have nothing going forward. Adama isn't a goal scorer, unfortunately. He's a provider, and he gets the team moving forward. But just playing such a negative system, and just the way we've been for months. I hope it changes next season. It needs to change, or Nuno's probably going to lose his job on the end of this. But again, on the end of that, I've seen a lot of people do want Nuno gone, but who would we actually get? Realistically, as Wolves, who would we get who would be able to do more than what he's done? I don't know. I'm just completely lost for words, just rambling on now. And moving to Sunday, probably be disappointed. Thank God the Euros is coming up, something to take my mind off Wolves for a while, and get onto the transfer window.
All right, then Everton 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. What a disappointing game. First half we were dominant. It was just us. We were literally having all the corners. We had 11 corners in the first half. It was absolutely insane. I was smiling for the first time in ages. What it felt like. It was great. We actually had possession for once. We wanted to play attacking football. We weren't passing it back to the defence every 5 minutes. It was brilliant. And then I was expecting us to score a goal, and then we didn't. So it went 0-0 at half time. We come into the second half, and they score a goal about 50 minutes in. Pretty badly defended goal, to be honest. Rudley did nothing. Didn't even dive for it. And then Richarlison with the header. It's just disappointing for us, really. Okay, we got nothing to play for, but that doesn't really mean much. It's more like we got the pride to play for, we got the badge to play for. We still want to get wins. Just a bit disappointing, really. We definitely could have come away with the win. Man of the match, probably Keane. Played really well defensively, or Richarlison for the header. Traore had a great game. Not sure why Nuno subbed off Gibbs White. He was having a really good game. But yeah, on to Man United next, which, that's going to be probably an even worse game, to be honest. So yeah.
Well, there you have it. Everton 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Now, after the first half, where we had 58% possession, I thought, do you know what? We could just get this and we could win this game. And then all of a sudden, bang. And we're behind. Traore was making some good runs and not finishing. I actually thought Semedo had a decent game, but I just couldn't believe that they managed to concede. I thought Ruddy was. You didn't have to do a lot really. The only thing he had to do was watch the ball go past him, and that was it. So, I mean, I just want this season to end. To be fair, I'm really excited about the fans going back for Man U. I think there's 4,500 tickets, but they definitely needed a big reshake up with the team. I can't wait for Jimenez to come back, and at this time I've got no words to say. I just thought that we dominated. We dominated possession. We looked strong on the attack. The defence was good, but then all of a sudden, one slip and you're in the shit. And there's nothing else we can say. All I know is on to the next game, or on to the last game, must I say. And let's, again, be thankful that it's the end of the season and we're not being relegated. We're mid-table. The last time I looked, Aston Villa were winning against Tottenham, so I don't really know the score, but I couldn't give a shit, really. As far as I'm concerned, I'm Wolves forever, and I always will be. Thanks for talking, Wolves, for letting me come on, and on to the last game.